Catching vibes with a dude that got a lot of new sauce. I mean, you got some old sauce too, you know, mixing up the flavors, all that good stuff. Dizzy Banko is in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on, hip hop?
Welcome to the party, man. What's happening?
Man, it's cold outside.
No doubt, that's a fact. It's break out there. Like for February, I mean, we had 50-degree weather, and now it's 30 degrees again.
Yeah, that's it's confusing because I think it was like 50 degrees where I was at not too long ago. And I'm like, oh, outside some shorts, and then it hit like 6 o'clock. I'm like,
it was snowing yesterday.
Yeah, it's like snowing yesterday. I'm like, yo, how you come out the car and there's like snow all over the car? Like, nah, I gotta get home.
You gotta tell the people who you brought with you. You brought artists.
I got my boy Mercy the Dawn for me.
Alright.
Straight out of Brooklyn, man.
Mercy
talk, man.
You know the vibes, man. Your boy Mercy Porter, man. Straight from the floors, man. You know the vibes, man. We're back.
Welcome to Station Head, man. So I wanted to talk to y'all about a bunch of stuff. I mean, we're gonna have a lot of topics to cover. You got big placements, you got big records, big artists, it's left and right. Like it's a lot of big action happening out here. To take it back though, for people that's not super familiar, who was Dizzy Banko before he was Dizzy Banko? Because I know that's not the birth name.
Nah, DeAndre, I ain't gonna put up the whole government.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. But to the people that do know, they know what's up. But yeah, DeAndre, I was just like I don't know where, I forgot where the Dizzy name came from. Like I was transitioning to like so much different names, but I don't remember exactly the day. I was like, all right, I'm going with Diz. Probably Diz, maybe, or I don't know. I gotta probably ask my cousin. But
the beats have people spinning, make their heads spin.
Something it had to add up in that nature. But I used to be locked in. Like at a point in time, I was never outside. Like you know, people will have childhood memories and certain things. Like my childhood memories came at a certain point where I felt like, okay, I have the time to do it then.
Okay.
But I went down south one time for Thanksgiving. My uncle gave me the program. It's called Fruit Loops. I went back home and I just been locked in. So a couple of my friends from middle school, they'd be like, yo, what about the ball? I'm like, I'm gonna make beats. They say, oh, you in the music? Let me go rap. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to have like this little microphone on the computer.
And I forgot what plug into Fruity Loops?
And you plug into Fruity Loops. So it was like we used to like rap on the computer, no microphone, just on top of the computer rapping. And I'll just like put it together. So I was already fake engineering like 14, 15.
Oh wow!
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like it was early. I started early, so it's like
it was off the fly.
Yeah. Like, it's not like somebody really like my uncle. Like I said, he didn't sit down and teach me how. I just blocked everything out.
It's like here, learn this, you be lit.
Yeah, basically. And it was like Thanksgiving, everybody eating it.
Yeah.
I got my plate, went back in the studio.
So this is almost by coincidence. It's like, you know, you just out there just doing some holiday stuff with the fam. Did he expect, like, was that his plan to give you this when you came down there, or it just happened on the fly?
It happened on the fly because it was on his computer.
Okay.
And I was like, yo, what is this? And then he was just playing beats, and then it looked simple to me. So, like I said, I just never left the crib. Like, I went, say our prayers, get some food, right back in the studio. The whole Thanksgiving.
See, that's one thing I gotta say about the producers that I met that have these crazy placements that really thrive. They never come outside. They be really locked in and every day learning a new way to kind of fuck people's heads up when it comes to making music.
But you do have to step outside, though.
Yeah, well,
I mean, at some points of knowing, cause like I said, then we ain't got no Instagram.
Yeah.
Probably with MySpace, Sconex. There's not too much going on with the beats. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I don't even know where the source is coming from off that point, because you have producers like Timbaland and Kanye coming up at that time.
Yeah.
So it's really off of who you know and where you at. It wasn't no social media and content of anything that was going on.
Well,
so that's why so that's why I was like, I have to be outside, and I really came up through the Get Light area.
Okay.
So
you was with the dance kids and all that.
But I flipped it though, like take like old school, like Teddy Pendergrass, Marvin Gaye, but then put it in my, on my bop.
Yeah, like, bounce to it. See, that was my question really, is like, what brings you outside? Because was it to go get placements? Was it to go get feedback on the beats you had? A little bit of both? Like, or really you just something holding you?
At that time, my cousin, they had like a crew, and I was the youngest.
This so Get Light crew?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I couldn't get into clubs, but they used to know the bouncers and everything. I was probably like 16 or something, getting into clubs, and then everybody getting light dancing. So you're catching the moment, and you're like, all right, can't wait to get home. Go home and then start something new. And it's like everybody started to rap now.
Okay.
So now the crew is rapping, and they, now they're taking it serious. Who's the producer out of the family? Me. So.
And was that the plan? Like, I mean, not necessarily just to produce for them, but was the plan once you kind of fell in love with this to be a producer as a career? Or were you just kind of having fun with it at the time?
At that time, it was fun.
Okay, so you didn't even know if this was going to be something that you could do professionally.
Right. And I think it was a Kanye. That's when I think Kanye just came out.
Okay.
And I started to tap into what he was doing.
Right.
So that's why I was like, damn, I'm doing everything he's doing at a certain time and with the whole rapping and stuff. But then I stopped thinking about the rapping part. I just thought about the music part.
Okay.
So I'm like, I like his story. You know what I'm saying? So I just went off that route. Dr. Dre is my favorite producer.
Alright.
So everything was just like in the moment of the old heads, not who was coming up at that time. Which is everything was in the old head time.
What was it like outside of just sonically? Because I know why I love Dre, why I love Kanye, but I'm more of a hip hop fan. I don't understand the production in and out. What is it about their production or them as people, I guess specifically, that made you really fuck with them? Dre, I guess more so.
Yeah, I would say Dre because it's the structure.
Okay.
Like some beats could be simple, 808s, this and that, it's simple. But when you start adding guitars, pianos, and you do that like saxophones and different sounds to really, bring that regular beat out. That's what like I said, between Dr. Dre and Kanye, because Kanye, when he started, he had the simple sampling, a couple drums there and there. But then when you start hearing like flashing lights in certain records, I tune in before I tune into what he's saying. I tune into the beat and I'm like, the strings come from. So it's like, it's the build up. So me, I got strong in that part where it's building up. Like I wouldn't even have to make a beat. I'll have you and Merc, like, you do the drums, you do something, and I'll hear something, I'm like, all right, so you add this, you add that. And it's like, I'm really making the beat in my head, but you two guys just putting it together.
Yeah, you dissecting it like a surgeon, like, which is wild because, I mean, a lot of things, like, I mean, from a production standpoint, to identify certain strings, where does that take you? Does it take you to, like, the instrument, another song that uses it, like, when you say, I know where that came from?
Other songs, I should say. Because, like I said, I jump to the beat before I hear the artist.
Yeah.
So it's like, I can do it. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's just it. I can't say I can't do it unless, I don't know. I never said I could do it. Unless I ain't really want to do it on some lady shit. I just know I could do it.
But nah, you believed in yourself, and it sounds like just whatever's up there is like a constant music catalog of like what to relate to and how to kind of build off of it. It's like people that's into fashion, they be into fashion with the sneakerheads, they make sneaker contact before they look at anything else. Like it's just the first thing that draws them in. For me, on the other side, I've always been somebody into lyrics a lot, So, I mean, now it's evolved where I understand the production and what goes into that. Mm-hmm. And I will say, I think producers have evolved so much that there's probably people that I like strictly off of how talented the production is. Mm-hmm. But for you to identify so early on as like a skill to pick and, I wouldn't say pick and choose, but pick out these little sounds that are kind of underneath big vocals, big artists, because everybody's looking at JJJ not just because of the lyrics, but also because Jay-Z's this icon. You see him, but nobody really saw Ye at this point, like where you don't know even how much he's contributing, but you to be able to pick out the sounds, you realize that's really what carries it.
Some beats be harder than the trap sometimes.
No cap. Most beats these days.
And like I said, like you just said, this generation, that's how it's moving right now. Like the beats be so hard. The person can say whatever you want to say.
You gotta dance.
You just gotta dance. Like,
and the Get Light relation is perfect.
It's like Get Light is like, you see how the UK movement, like how Brooklyn everybody dance and stuff. That's just like the new form of Get Light, like in that era. Because everybody's doing it.
Because you got a woo slide.
You're saying you hear it, you just want to, you know what I'm saying? You just, okay. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You don't feel dead. Like, it's just one of them energetic movements. Like, I gotta get back.
Yeah, I say too. From knowing Davis, he would run around with Get Light, like Get Light himself. He always, when he see people, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, he used to get light. We used to get light."
Yeah.
And one thing I know for sure about those kids too, it wasn't even just being able to have the skill of like knowing how to dance and do all this stuff in the clubs, but like culturally, they always know what's next, what's fresh, like where the sound is going more than anyone. Like,
I'll be lost. I'll be like,
because you gotta know it's still connecting to the people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They know what the people like, they know what they dislike, you know what I'm saying? So
it's tough, like because when you approach it from a rapper production standpoint, it's like rappers spend a lot of time writing in the books. You know, producers, they spend a lot of time on the computers trying to get the sounds right, but to have that energy and the influence of actually incorporating what these kids is doing, you could kind of get the first taste of what the sound is going towards and how to kind of maneuver it to fit into what your skill set is, just based on seeing what energy they getting, you know, from the sound.
It used to be like, you know, people say, yo, girls like it, everybody likes it, but now it's kids like it.
Straight up.
Like, so it's like my daughter, you know what I'm saying? Like, I dropped a project, like, she's always in the studio, so my girl called her, like, she played the song, and she was saying the lyrics from what I was saying, and I'm just like happy because it's like, you know, like
I feel you.
It's not like it was a curse word after curse word after curse word. It was just like she missed the curse word and then said that one part. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like,
dumbfounded.
And she's one, bro.
Oh wow.
One. She moved like she's 6, bro. She's
saying
no cap.
Messing with that Fruity Loops.
Yeah. And when I started making beats, I got a couple of videos when she was sitting on my lap. And she knows what button to press when it starts playing. She presses it, she looks at me, she's like, and then when I stopped it, she's like, press it again, and she's just going, and I'm like, you know, so I put that in the atmosphere, you know, when I posted on social media, it's like, yo, look, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you should.
I'm comfortable still making my music and doing my beats while I'm growing up with her, you know what I'm saying? Like, versus people just in the studio all the time. I put the studio in my crib.
Yeah, and you know what? Two things have come from that. One, for her, just to be able to naturally absorb all of this. I mean, it's in the DNA, but still to be in the presence of it, like, you know, because kids really have a different sense of energy. Like, they can kind of feel what's, you know, gonna make them happy, what's gonna be stressing them out, what's like maybe too hard on the ears. Like, they're very sensitive in that form, and to be able to kind of have that as like not necessarily even just a tool, but like as a collaborator. You know, you look at these, like I watch hella videos on YouTube, and you watch more times than not the most talented artists, the Michael Jacksons of the world. It's like their parents put them around the instruments, and it's like just play. And to have you as the influence, I mean, you know what you're doing inside out for a variety of different people.
Right.
That's a better education than if she grew up and went to music school, you know?
She's already gonna know it. You know what I'm saying? So I really found out when my aunt told me, like, I was the same way. With her though. She used to be playing old school songs, and you know, we driving back and forth down south, and she would, like I said, she'll play every record that people sample, so she'll test me like, who's that singer? And then I'll be like, how you don't know? I played this 40 different times. So I really say my aunt put me in that pedestal. I can't, cause my pops passed at an early age, so I can't really say what I remember from that part of where it came from. But I would say probably my aunt when it came to just music, period, not even beat making.
Yeah, well, the catalog's already kind of starting to develop early on, and now it's like, it seems like as you 14, 15, growing up and getting the programs, to be able to be like, oh, that was that song, that was this song, this worked, this is why. Because you're never going to remember, like, I'm sure the same sounds are used on multiple records, but you're going to remember which ones were hits. And kind of and you know, they say when you go to sleep, it's like your brain kind of gets rid of the garbage and absorbs and like files what sticks. And to have that from such an early age, whether it's by influence of your aunt, being able to apply it from your uncle, is just like to grow with that, combine it with being around kids that's getting light. You was really bred to be a superstar, man.
Yeah, and my aunt, you told me the other day, she was like, yo, you're probably like the only one out of the family that's really chasing it, because, you know, one of my uncles is like almost damn near NFL player. He stopped.
Yeah.
So it's like, now that I'm doing music, and then, you know, she works in a jail, so now it's like I guess one of her friends was nephew I worked with, and she's like, yeah, my nephew. He was just talking. So when she heard the name, she was like, wait, who? My nephew. And then she started to tap on what I'm doing. She's like, yo, you got inmates and stuff.
That's aware.
It's looking serious, like, and I'm like, yo, all I'm doing is, you know, the same.
Yeah,
thing.
it's natural. It's and not for nothing. I mean, anybody that's whether it's Instagram athletes, it's always about being organic. That's why I say what's happening with your daughter is beautiful because it's so often that people force things to try and get to like this agenda or reach this. Like their intention isn't to just do it to do it and enjoy it.
It's natural.
Yeah, like
you sink in.
Yeah. And you make space, like you make space in your mind to allow these things kind of come to you by not being somebody that's like, listen to my beats, listen to my beats, listen to my beats. You just create them, people that
put it out there, let them just come,
and let it come to you. Same with relationships.
That's the same
Can't
thing.
force it.
That's the same thing with him, because like I said, we used to play ball. Like, how old are you guys?
19.
19, and I'm 27.
Okay.
So he was like, you know, young buck only playing ball, whatever. I didn't, and the nature of him singing. Didn't know, you know what I'm saying? So it's like every time he, you know, in the studio and playing music or he said it to me, it's like, I'm like, I want him to feel comfortable. Not saying it was him, but it was people that used to come to me, just the fact what I was doing, so they feel like, I'm gonna just work with business, like, and just get to that point. But they don't understand the work behind it and how I got to this point. Not just, because of 1 2 1 2. So I want him to really see, like, if you're back against the wall, what you do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If somebody can't do something, what you do. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta go, you know, that way, but just what do you do if you know what I'm saying? Like, you see with your situation, you see you still pushing. You know what I'm saying?
And that patience and persistence always pays off, and it's like you never know. Like, you know, they say tell God your plans if you want him to laugh at you, because it's like you're always gonna get what's meant for you. You're not gonna always get what you want.
Right.
And I had this kid, Sugenerous here yesterday. I was telling him about the letter Kobe wrote to his younger self. Like, rest in peace, Kobe. But one thing that's always stuck with me is Kobe said, he's like, you know, I would have bought my family car dealerships or car washes instead of just cars. And I was telling Sugenerous, like, 18-year-old kid. He basically told me a story. He flew his cousins up from like Texas or whatever. He kind of took off, was doing his thing, but all built from the ground up, similar to yourself. Just loved making music, was using equipment that he could just get his hands on, and things went. As he made money, he tried to help his family out, brought his cousins up, and got them all the weed they needed, all the girls they needed, set them up in the studio. 2 weeks later, no records got done. And it's like, that's not necessarily how you position people. We had a really great talk about it, but the fact that y'all are just able to connect on genuine shit, like, I say this, I tell artists all the time, artists is always like, listen to my music, listen to my music, listen to my music. And music, what I love about it is it gives you so many pieces of who the person is. You might talk about working 4 jobs, having a kid real young, having a kid real old, whatever it is. Come up to me and tell me about what could be heard in the music. Don't just make it about, check out my song. Be like, yo, I'm working 4 jobs, and just to vent, I made this record because it's like, I felt it one day, and like, give me the background, because more times than not, people connect on the genuine.
You can see who really, really want to make it and who just want to make it just for, you know what I'm saying, what come with it.
Straight up.
That's how it is. Well, now, like, not saying now, but some people just want to do it because they want to, like, sign a bad deal, but they wouldn't know it's a bad deal. They just like, oh, this is how much you pay. All right, I'm out. Sign it, I'm out. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I went past mad deals where it's like, now if I took that deal and see the placements that came my way, you get what I'm saying? Like, I would not see nothing. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, even with him coming up, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I can help, I'm going to do it. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes some people just don't want to do it. They want to let somebody fall to the ground, but I got that kindness in my life. I'm not about to, you know what I'm saying? Like,
You want to see him win. I'm the same way with Davis. I want to take it back a little bit because we going off on tangents. I could talk to you all day, obviously. The energy, right? But I say this, to bring it back, when was the first time that you got like a placement or somebody had kind of just a collaboration? What happened that took it from a passionate artist to, I'm a producer and this is my career and let's get this right? Because I mean, we're gonna get to your placements in a little bit. It's a long list of people. What sparked this is like the first beat you cleared and went out and maybe got a check on, or saw something got a lot of views.
I had you like, yo, say no more.
No
It's
cap,
weird.
for real.
It's weird, but it was somebody that was like in Japan,
Okay.
and I came across a screenshot the other day, and he was getting these views, and I'm like, the hell? Like, but it was my beat. He was contacting me, I think, off of MySpace or something like that. What was that to MySpace?
Facebook. It was like a Japanese
Facebook.
artist.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
didn't understand, you know, and he was just hitting up like, yo, this beat's fire.
They know music out there.
I used to put out beat tapes.
Okay.
That's what really branded my name. I used to put beat tapes out like every week. So that means I have no clientele. I have nobody to really say, okay, and then, all right, I can't really give you that beat because he got that beat. It's just like, yo, the beats is out. Go ahead, beat. That's like,
That's a Pete
that's
Rock.
like crack. Yeah, that's like somebody like a dope dealer, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
crack, like, yo, we got to go to this corner because he got it. That was just me. So I can't say my first place at that time. I mean, I was getting money off the beats and stuff. Nothing really. I'm probably Nino Man.
Okay.
Touch the radio, if I'm not mistaken. Probably.
I wouldn't let radio be the standard, but
I'm going as much, but if I really be technical, like, I'm gonna say Lil Wayne.
Okay.
Lil Wayne and Joel.
All right.
That's probably that was the biggest.
That's when you like shit. Lil Wayne's book.
Yeah,
not for nothing. I'm sure you had that same energy when Nino Man was like, "Yo, let me get a record," because Nino Man was doing his thing.
Yeah, so it was like with the whole Jada and like everything. I'm looking at him differently than just okay, it's Nino Man.
How fast did this happen? Like was it in the matter of like you do the Nino Man placement and then it's like 2 weeks, 2 months, a year?
I think it was the tag made it come to me fast.
Okay.
Because people that didn't know me, now it's like they're promoting me without me saying anything. Now it's like, oh, I heard that's my man. It's like, I heard his tag on the radio, so it just keeps going.
That's my other question too, because you were around before tags were even a thing. How early did you incorporate that? Because that was frowned upon at first.
Damn, I feel like I'm deleting that because I don't know what other tag was probably jumping at that time.
Alright. Yeah, because, I mean, you talking about when you got into this, tags didn't really become a thing until...
I had a laugh tag, but that was off the program.
Okay.
And it was like, I can't really go far with it. So people that knew me from back then, like, y'all remember when you had your beat, you had that laugh tag on it. And then I grew to the Dizzy Banko tag after that.
Okay.
Probably like 2015, 2016, no, 2016, 2017.
Yeah, it's fairly early. It's like tags, you probably were one of the first on it then, because I'm thinking...
I don't know, yeah, because I don't, like I said, the producers that was coming up when I was making was Kanye.
Yeah.
Like he just, you know, that's
not
when
really
Jay-Z was still rapping. So it's like, I just had a tag just to know that I separated from, we know whose beat is that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what it was. Because I'm like, how do you gonna know if there's no tags? Or how do you gonna know who beat it is? So
could you imagine if there was a tag on the Black Album or something? It's like, Jesus!
you know what I'm saying?
That would be crazy.
But they had so much of a style that you know.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. That's why I said I'm so dumped into the beats before the lyrics. I could play a record probably for somebody else and be like, you know, who would make this beat? And they wouldn't even know who made the beat by just guessing. Now, like I said, now with the tags, if you don't even hear a tag, like I think I played a record the other day and somebody said, oh, you made this beat? Because my tag wasn't in it. So I'm like, damn, so he's still not growing to the, you know, the style of the sound. Like, until I hit a tag, you ain't make the beat.
Well, it's rare too because like regular fans don't even understand what goes into their production. Like even me being just a fan of hip hop and in the music industry, it's like I don't really even fully like if I heard 2 records, like maybe I could differentiate it a little bit, but like that's really a producer's skill to be able to say, oh, I know who made that beat. Like it would have to be something extreme. It have to be like, you know, RZA or something that I'm like, you know what I mean? But it's very rare that people could even get these packs, I think, where the sounds are standing out. And then there's so many producers that try and copy, like, tight beats.
Wow.
Where it's like to stand out, you either gotta be as substantial, as special as yourself.
You gotta make a beat that's like, alright, I'm not typing this. Even when they try to type the beat, even though I say, I see where you're going, but that ain't it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So you get these placements. How does one connect with Lil Wayne? Especially, I mean, this is Wayne's biggest artist in the game. Like doing crazy shit could really work with anybody.
That was off the streets though. My cousin, he was cool with Joel's family, and he was like, yeah, my cousin make beats, this and that. And he was like, you know, he called me and said, yo, Joel's needs to, you know, send a pack over.
Okay.
So I just sent him a pack over. That was 1 year before the song came out. So when I sent the pack over, that was just it. You know what I'm saying? He used to call me there like, yo, listen to this. We working, just keep sending me beats,
So you didn't even know it was gonna get into Wayne's hands. You just sent it for Joel's.
One phone call. It was like 1 o'clock. And he called me from a number I didn't know. And I'm always off like, who this?
Wait, who called? Wayne?
Joel's
called. Okay.
And I'm always like, they on the phone like, if I don't know the number, I'm saying, who this?
Yeah.
And he was like, what, man? Joel's. I'm like, he's saying it like I knew, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, like just
if I knew who it was off rip. So he was like, yo, listen to this. So he plays the record. And I'm just like, and I started smiling over the phone. So I'm like, once he stopped playing, I'm like, yo, that was Wayne? He was like, yeah, man, I'm telling you, keep sending me packs, man.
Damn.
And I was quiet the whole time. I probably told like my boys and stuff, but I was quiet the whole time. Like, I didn't
what do you even say? It's like, because at this point you tapped in on your own, like you really focused on making this music. So would anybody even really understand how much that means in the moment?
Bro, free L. If he was here right now, to tell you how many times I probably try to call that number back just to and clarify it. You know, I didn't get him back after that until like I had to say to his cousin, like, yo, listen, tell him.
Damn.
For me, tell him Joel hit me back. Like, I need to confirm this because again, it's late, and I didn't want to. He was just like, he didn't even say, yo, He's like, listen.
Oh, it was 1 in the morning.
Yeah, it was 1 in the morning.
And we close to the same age where it's like Wayne is God. You know, like one of the few people I would consider like a god of this shit.
So he was rapping a certain way. So he was rapping a way where it's like, you know, the old dedication.
Okay.
You know, that flow. So I'm just more excited. Like, I don't even know how this is going to play out. So when they did come out, I was on my way to the studio and Mac Lane tagged me in a cover art.
Okay.
I'm just driving. I'm like, Mac Lane. Then Joel's posted, tagged me. I'm like,
it's lit.
Yeah.
Then Lil Wayne, people's already tagging me under Joel's and people's, and then boom, that's what Lil Wayne had it like the record Bloody Mary, produced by, and then my tag my name.
Wow.
So that's when I pulled the car over.
As you should.
I'm like, my man's like, yo, you ain't wasting studio. I'm like, hold on, I'm like an exit away, but wait. Do you see what's going on?
You by yourself?
By myself.
And that shit was fire.
I'm like, and then I'm like, as soon as I got to the studio, he's like, yo, Flex is going crazy on this record.
Wow.
Upstate, we not, but at this moment, there's no radio. I haven't listened to the radio unless I come over here and put it on the.
Had you heard like the record in like a final, like, or you just saw the artwork?
It was on YouTube. He just dropped it.
So you're hearing it for the first time right there.
For the first time, and I'm listening to it. So I'm like, all right, let me see how Wayne parts. And then when Wayne came off, like the old Wayne, I'm like, yeah,
Mama.
Because we didn't get that from him for a minute, so it's like, damn, I did that.
Nah, that's a fact.
That's wild.
I ain't hear from Wayne.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
you brought it out of him with the sound.
And I think what I said with the Bloody Mary from Tupac. So they just, and then he put it on the mixtape, Dedication 6, was it? Yeah, Dedication 6. So it was just like,
I know if that your phone blew the fuck
up. It did. It did. And then people that was buying beats, it just moved a little quicker. Now the money's just flying in.
Yeah, and how do you like differentiate who you gonna work with? Like, how do you figure out? Because I'm sure at this point, like once Wayne does something, everybody in the industry gonna want to tap in, and it becomes a whole thing. Yeah. Did you have an idea of like what artists you specifically felt like made sense? Because, you know, at the same time, we spoke about it before. People start forcing shit when they see that you have a certain sound, or like, how do you decide now where to go from there?
I kind of branded. I didn't jump to like other artists. and I don't know if that was a mistake of mine, but I kind of branded myself more as like from where I was at
as
to
a
now.
producer.
So now I'm trying to get my name out more as in feed the streets more.
Okay.
So it's like from Elite Bucks to the Man's again to the, who else was coming up? A couple of, I can't remember what's top of the head, but some artists that was already tapping in, that's like, all right, they got an eye on it. I was just started working with them more to lean off of that. So it's like, all right, now if I say I sign a big deal or something, I have the whole New York, I should say, in the palm of my hand.
Yeah.
To know who I am and how I am as a person and how I work. So that's already the biggest cosign. You know, it's like I could say if you come to New York, you gotta check in. I could say it.
It makes you the most prominent one. Like I mean, with a big cosign like that, it's a big record. You got big sound. It's like it's only right because who else is really standing out too at that time? And plus, you got like did this one have the producer tag on it?
Everything.
So yeah, and you early on that, so it's sticking.
So I went to the credits. My name. I just went to all the spots I know they didn't have the credits in. My name is there. Then they had me in the double XL. Then they had me here. Yeah, so I wanted to brand myself more versus, all right, that song is out, but let me try to get to, because like I said, it's take time to get to another artist.
You're doing early too. What I think people like Mustard and like Metro, like they doing that stuff the past couple years, but this is
but you see
a while
how
ago.
They was tapping in with their city.
Yeah, same
so it's
way.
Like the YGs to the Nipseys to the Tide, it wasn't as big.
Yeah.
Until you start putting records. So that was like out here.
Were you getting, and you don't have to answer this, but were you getting support from the city in a sense, or was it more like we just need beats and like because I feel like the thing that helps them thrive, like I was in Atlanta maybe 3 months ago and I seen Metro and Chase the Money. We was in the same studio. They was like talking to each other about sounds, collaborating with each other, like really, coming together for the city.
Right.
New York is notorious for not coming together. Not necessarily just with artists, but with producers, with the gangs, all this shit. Was it a challenge? Because I feel like for you, it was twice as much of a challenge as it is for LA or Atlanta producers.
Big challenge because everybody, you don't know who has an ego against who.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Everybody has
it's like
ego.
In my head, it's like, oh, this would sound fire, and I'll talk to my people, like I'm gonna put it together, and then the next day you see on social media, two hoods beefing. I'm like, I can't do that. Yeah, and I don't want to be in the mix. And I know I could do it. Like other people I was doing it with, like certain, but they was from the same area, so it looked good. But it's just like that's not enough. You know what I'm saying? I want to get a Brooklyn or a Harlem or a Bronx or a Staten Island,
just making good music.
Just making good music. But the beef and the politics was too big. It was like some people were like, bro, don't care about that. I'm like, my name is attached to that.
Yeah.
People be talking in rooms about these situations and how they doing certain things with beef, and it's like, I don't want to hear this. Put a beat on and let's. I don't care about that.
Put it to the side.
But the fact that I'm so drawn to the artist, any artist I work with, is like I'll be with them for like a good 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So people start looking at it like, oh, you running with him now.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then they'll take it personal. But then it's like, all right, they project out, boom, and then I start working with another person. So it's like, I don't know nobody's deep secrets of what's going on in the streets.
Yeah, you're not concerned with none of that shit.
Right. So then I start to say, okay, now I need to know because innocent stuff could be going on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want
to
be
have drama
in the studio and the cops come in big raid and they're like locked up for. You know what I'm saying? Like I see.
I know exactly.
So
like,
I learn from people's mistakes, and I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna go that route. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like. There's probably people that got locked up for no reason. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, nah, for sure. I'll say this too. I'll give you a lot of credit, man, because like I'm able to kind of be the ignorant white dude out of it, and like I say, it's fucked up. Like I really, because I grew up in all different neighborhoods. I lived in just as many broke ass hood shit, gang infested neighborhoods as I have rich ass white ass people, and like it's fucked up because. In I say in radio, right? I could play whoever. I could play. I don't want to say too many names. I could play a Crip and a Blood back to back, and be like, "Oh, it's just my white dude, whatever." Like, assuming that I'm just ignorant to it, and I could plead the ignorance and play shit based on the music.
Right.
For you to be having to actually tap in with people, lock in for weeks at a time, you're not really removed from it. You're part of their life for that amount of time. And to have to even think about it where it's like, I don't even want to deal with the police shit, with the cop shit, with the gang shit. That shit stressed me the hell out, man.
Free Jeezy Muller, like that's one person. Like
my boy, man.
When I tapped into his everything, just his lifestyle, and then when he came home, and then I got put on like, yo, he coming through, bring some beats, boom. So it's like I already knew the nature of what he had going on, and who don't like him, who do like him.
Yeah.
I took that chance. Like I didn't care. So I already got some type of backlash, like, because I was in the studio with him every single day. Every time he like, yo, bro, pull up to the studio.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. So every time I was there, again, if he posts a video, you see me. So now it's like, oh, he from Brooklyn now. It's like, how you label?
It's such a distraction to what needs to be productive.
Yeah, like, why you label me? That's like baby working with mustard. They'll say, okay, little baby's from Cali now.
Yeah, and the team of New York's team is just losing left and right, so like one or two people could temporarily win. Wow. I'll say this, and people are gonna be very mad at me for saying this. I really don't give a fuck. I think I blame radio a lot for a lot of this shit, and it's a big reason why I feel like I wasn't even successful with a lot of the things I did at Hot or credited with any of the successful shit, because in radio, a lot of the people that's in that shit is OGs that respectfully want to lock down they shit, right?
Wow.
At the same time, it's like you're under this brand, you're a team, whether it be whatever station it is. Like, people know where I was at, but like, you want to approach it like I'm somebody who's trying to approach it as a team. If French Montana hits me up, I'm like, you need to be sitting with so or so because I'm younger, I'm tapped in with the youth. Let's find balance, because it's like if Derek Jeter trying to play shortstop, a pitcher, outfield, is not gonna work. You gotta really master what base you at or where you fall on the field, and that's how together the Yankees win championships. Exactly. You know what I mean? And I say this much, in radio, there's so many times where I would bring artists through, and it wouldn't really get any recognition in the sense of not even for me getting recognition, the artists themselves. And I always use A$AP Rocky as an example, Action Bronson, Joey Badass. These guys are not in the clubs, they're not concerned with popping bottles, they're not concerned with flooding these venues. Yeah. So in turn, they don't necessarily get support from a lot of DJs, because it's like, we want to support motherfuckers that's flooding the clubs. We want to support motherfuckers that's
everybody's talking about right now.
And the problem is that who's flooding the clubs? Who got money to flood clubs? Credit card scammers, gang members, like all that shit, drug dealers. Rocky and them don't got money to flood the clubs like that. I mean, not at the time when they was coming up. And even if they did, they trying to get on Rolling Loud and do big festivals and get into fashion. You get isolated from actually getting that push in your own city by names that are big and recognizable, just off the strength of like the intention isn't the same as what you talking. Your intention is just make good shit.
That's it.
It's like, nah, we want to get money. We want to get, and it's just ignorance, because everybody could be getting money and there could be a lot less violence. And not for nothing, I think that's why, everybody hates 6ix9ine. And the only reason I don't hate 6ix9ine is because I really saw through the shit day one. And it's like, he was really just out here finessing everybody the way Tyler the Creator be finessing everybody.
It's crazy you speak on that.
So you trying to say he not gay?
I mean, he gay, but like...
Oh, Tyler?
Yeah.
Nah, he's something.
He's funny.
I don't even want to say the G word, because I knew they do a lot of backlashes nowadays.
I mean,
look at little Boosie. They try to take him off Instagram.
That's Boosie.
Nah, you're right. I shouldn't say gay, but like he, I just think he spoke on messing with people and all that, and it's for him to do what he wants to do. At the end of the day, when I speak on Tyler, I'm more so saying he's just able to operate as this dude that just makes record after record after record, doesn't need the radio love, and is still able to get support in California from people who do get the radio love.
And see, that's exactly. So it's like, I already tapped into all that stuff, like trying to understand the whole radio play, the music wave, and how people interact. So you see with the baby, I don't think seen him like in the clubs yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But every time you see him out, he's interacting with fans.
Mm-hmm.
Like he bought somebody's like the cookie box.
Oh
and then gave it back out to people. You know what I'm saying? When you keep interacting with people, you don't understand how much fans you're growing. That's like, yo, like I get it every day. Like, yo, bro, you motivate me. And I'll be sitting on my computer trying to find out the next step.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how the hell do I motivate you? And you know what I'm saying? I do the same thing.
I know exactly.
I hit him up, yo, it's GTA. But with my daughter. It's the same thing, and it's like once I start making beats and then just whatever, they're like, yo, I just stopped making beats because you came online. Let me see what you do.
See, but the problem is, I say for me at least in a radio sense, because I was the same way. I never did the strip clubs. I never did any of these. I just did a lot of like, you know, the hosting showcases and that. And I started building this fan base or like this crowd of people that was supporting me, you know, strictly based on genuine shit. It's like, you could meet me. Like, you really, I'll play your record on hot if I fuck with you, whether you got a million fans or not. Yeah. Because I'm not trying to book you for a club run for the next month. Like, I just fuck with good music. I live in a basement apartment. I'm not making money like a lot of people do, but like, I got that integrity. And it's like, when you live by that, you're ultimately such a threat to people who operate in the other world, because when you're somebody that's following that, like from a DJ standpoint, you're somebody that's trying to break into the clubs. It's easy to get stopped in the clubs. You know what I mean? By somebody big that's cool to promoter. When you operating outside of that and you start cooking the internet, now it's like, how the fuck do we stop them? And it's like, the point is, you shouldn't be trying to stop. You should be embracing it and coming together. What can I learn about the internet? What can you learn? It doesn't happen like that though. And in New York especially, I mean, you look at the artists that come out of the city. Even if they get to the point, like I'd say the biggest artist out of New York right now is like Cardi B, right? She don't even get credit the way she deserves because she's not doing these club runs where other people who could never make that substantial amount of music and sound and all that have good shit, get over credit because of one record that's able to be just worked to fucking death. And it drives me crazy. And I never looked at it from the standpoint of a producer, because the same way we don't have a standout artist in New York that's like our Kendrick Lamar, our Drake, our, you know, whatever. It's the same with the producers. You know, you look at a dude like Mustard, you know exactly where Metro is. In New York, it sounds like it's the same shit for the same reason of just like, instead of tapping in based on music, it's like, well, you ain't gonna flood the clubs with a million motherfuckers. It's gonna be, so I'm gonna tap in with this dude, even though the beats ain't slapping as much, or because this one has a name, or.
Well, they try to copy. And I know no originality anymore. It's just.
But it's overall, it's just not productive for the music at the end of the day. And if the music ain't standing out, like that's why even the drill sound is incredible. Like I fuck with it. Yeah. But it's like, what is it rooted in? And are we gonna stick by it, or are we gonna wait till something else comes along to exploit, to just then run with that shit?
Right. It ain't gonna stay. It ain't gonna stick around for long. You know what I mean?
It's like one of them sounds that, like when we had, when there's like a lot of beats for doing the guitar sounds, or it's just like engraved, I should say. Like it's there.
Yeah, it's
like
temporary.
You couldn't go there now. Like, oh, on the album, I want a drill song on my album.
Yeah.
Before you wouldn't say I want that type of vibe on my album. You're just like, let me get this and get that. Now that sound, you know, cultivates different things. It's engraved now. Yeah. Like, all right, we could work with it. Now, what's the next sound? You don't hear too much pop or anything come out of New York, so it's like that stuff that didn't get engraved yet.
I say this, no shade. What does New York sound like? And I don't mean that as any disrespect. Shout out to Flex. That's my guy. I know that's his tag. Is this is what New York sounds like. But what does New York sound like? Because we know what LA sounds like, and we know that Dre is the godfather of that shit. We know what Atlanta's starting to sound like, or what it's been sounding like, and we know who godfather that is. But what does New York sound like?
I would say New York don't really got like a label. You know what I'm saying? It's just a bunch of talented motherfuckers just out there just doing their thing in any type of way. It can be country music, drill, R&B.
I guess that's beautiful in its own way. Yeah. But it's
I get what you mean though.
You know what I mean? It's like a catch-22.
Like you gotta have
identity.
Like Little Baby or one of them come to New York and say, yo, I want this New York's. Like they thinking,
I need to tap in with Dizzy Banko because he got that, and we had it.
Hip hop.
We originated it.
Yeah, I just, like I said, shout out to the UK producers. Like I tapped in with one of them. I'm like, yo, listen, I got it for that.
They got it,
and I'm not about to. You know what I'm saying? Some people.
I know
like,
exactly. Yeah, the UK going
I didn't
crazy.
strongly tap into it until he's asking for it, and I'm like, all right, let me see what's up. Let me see what I could do, and then I fell in love with it. But I can't. overdo it because that's not really my bop. You know what I'm saying? That's their bop, and I kudos to them. You know what I'm saying?
Even with them, it's rooted in they love music. Like that's why even mentioning that your first placement is a dude from Japan is like it's so funny because not even necessarily just because they overseas and it's Japan and you from here, but like Japan is a place you could go and they appreciate the breakdancing. They appreciate the production value. They appreciate the lyrics. They appreciate every element.
Everything that you put out there, anything.
And they don't give a fuck. Same for the UK. They don't give a fuck about who you're dating, what drip you got on. You could do the most rugged shit ever.
Like,
making something.
Here's a beat. You know, right?
Yeah.
That shit slap.
Yeah. Once the beat is hitting, they don't care what you're saying. As long as it's, all right, he's on point, he's on beat, cool.
Straight up.
We can work with it.
Nah, but no lie, the UK beats taught me a whole different sound though. Like they got a whole different.
Yeah, they're special out there, man.
Yeah, and the way they do it is just so like how they put everything together.
Yeah.
Because a hip hop beat and a drill beat is just sound way different, way different. It's fire.
So I mean, I could talk to you again all day. We've been talking 46 minutes right now. I could talk to you for another hour and 46 minutes, but we got to touch on the project that you had out, that you have out, and just how that progressed. Like, how do you get to this point then where, because you was making the beat tapes, when does this become, I want to put out projects and go into that lane? Because that's a whole nother world.
Working with, like I said, working with different artists and working on their project from, I think, what project was it that I really was like, bro, I couldn't really, shout out to Swave HMG.
Okay.
So, when I first did a project with him, it was just us two uptown in the Bronx. And I did from the intro to the outro. I did the whole project, and people really listened. This is like, oh, you know, it's versatile because it's not like every beat was the same beat. It went from you had the bounce, then you had the up tempos, and then you had the smooth joints. And it's like, all right, I want you, how much you charge to do a whole project? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now it's like people charge me top dollars to do their whole damn project.
Okay.
So I kept doing it, and like I said, it's feeding the streets where the promotion is coming from the streets. That's like, y'all could be in the room, don't know me, and you could be like, yo, this man beats is fire. Yo, who's Dizzy? Yo?
Yeah.
Let me follow him. And I woke up like, oh, Dizzy, that's how, there's really no cosign in that way of how I came in. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a cousin that's in the industry.
It's one thing I say about New York is people love to talk. Even if they don't get along, everybody loves to talk about what they got, who they fucking with. There's always somebody. And if you the name in people's mouth, you're doing something right. Even if they talking bad about you, it's just they hating. You're always doing something right if they talking about you at all.
So but the projects came through behind that. Like that's how I was just putting it together. And like even in the project I have out now, Pressure, now me rapping is all just because of what I learned from my, you know, the OGs, like the Dre's, you know, Kanye to Timbaland to Neptunes, like they all had that nature moment where they're like, all right, I'm making beats, boom, boom, I'm lit.
Yeah.
And they start to write for people. They start doing their own music. And look how they look. What's wrong? You get what I'm saying? Like, what is wrong with they doing? Then they do other bigger things. They do clothing. They, you know.
Is it frustrating to be a producer that makes a beat maybe with a certain style to be rapping on it in mind, and then they don't go that route? Like,
it's not frustrating. It's like because I'm not. How I came out the first time is basically introducing me without vetting on social media. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to tweet all day.
Well, I just asked because you were looking for a specific sound from Wayne in that record, for example. It's like you're happy that you get this particular dedication, Wayne. What if he would have came with you get what I'm saying? Like, would that be like, yo, I'm so happy they used the beat, but like,
you get people that's like, damn, I wish he, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like, yo, it's still a blessing. You know what I'm saying?
Thankful that they're using it at all.
You know, people have kids, and the kids sometimes come out a certain way, and it's like, listen, as long as the baby's still breathing, it's still, you know what I'm saying? It's still a blessing at the end of the day. So you can't vouch on people's opinion because that's their opinion. You could really wake up and say, yo, listen, I got to win on my beat. I don't care if he would have just said, Easy F Baby. He's on my beat. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you not. I mean, and that's a great mentality to have. It's like, you know, because I know you hard on yourself about a lot of shit, but like that's one thing that I think it speaks a lot to you as a creative to just,
I don't care.
you know, you let people feel the vibes, and whether it complements your preconceived idea or not, it's just the fact that you're able to continue to work and get these placements despite.
I see people double back, like everybody, and then it's like somebody else is doing this lip. Yo, bro,
well,
same shit.
I ask too, because as a rapper, it's like to be able to start spitting your own bars on shit. I'd assume that there's certain beats you know you want to approach even as you're making a record. Like
I feel like that with every beat I make.
Okay.
If I know it's not for me, I'm gonna call an artist I feel strongly about as
for them. Send it out.
So people do hear records and be like, "Oh, are you keeping all the good beats for yourself?" And I'm like, "How? If I'd have sent you that same beat, and it's crazy. Some of the beats is still sent out, and they just didn't pick it.
Yeah.
And then when I did it, it's like, oh, you sent me that. Oh, yeah, it's that easy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just the fact that maybe because I wasn't in the room to really project it to you, how I could probably hear you on it. At times, that's when I really learned, like, yo, I gotta be in the studio, because some artists, they'll hear from fire beats, and then they're like, yeah, it's fire, but don't know how to approach it.
Yeah.
So that's when people have writers coming up, because the writers is like, snap fingers, all right, we got it.
Boom.
And then they're like, all right, what you said? I repeat it. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, we spoke about it earlier. I did the morning show today. We were speaking about there's a new record. Who was it? Justin Timberlake and was it Gaga or something? Or
I would say
hang on. No, I definitely heard the Justin Meek, which I also thought was a reach. But shout out to Meek. Meek went crazy.
That reach, I was like, what type of reach? Like,
just in this
political stance.
Political stance.
Yeah, I ain't really fuck.
Yeah, he should have did that when he first came out. Like,
yeah.
In that moment. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, why? Like, you're off papers right now, and you know what I'm saying? Like, we've been believing in you, but it's like,
it's too much. Like,
we want some hard. What's up?
Yeah, and I get that side of it too, but it's like at the same time, I know that's not the Meek you worked with originally. You know what I mean? Like to be with Justin. Justin has a record now with Meek, with SZA, and what's the one with SZA is the one that dropped today.
Like Justin heating up again. He's clapping all these speeches. Right
Justin
now.
Trying to heat up by cooling everybody else off. This is the problem. Because at the same time, it's like, don't get me wrong, I fuck with Justin. I think he ill as shit, but
he
like
some classics, but
yeah, but like
he's not gonna generate new classics. Don't even do it.
And my whole thing too, I talk to artists all the time. If y'all, for example, if y'all rapport wasn't what it was outside of the studio, it wouldn't be creating what you create inside the studio. Mm-hmm. What does Justin and Meek have in common that this makes any sense? What is Justin and SZA outside of having great voices individually? Like, and I get trying it, but like to follow through on it and then just be like, well, here you go, guys, and then let it be this thing that's like two iconic artists giving us something that's gonna be around for a week, and then
is it? I thought when I heard the Justin and Meek record, I kind of thought about the Justin and Jay-Z and Justin record was the what was the record?
The Pango about
I know exactly what you're talking about on Holy Grail.
Holy Grail. What's the difference between that and Believe Me, and between their records? Like, what's the difference with those two?
I'll say this: I think Hov and Justin might connect on a different type of level than Meek and Justin. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. But I feel like Hov, it's just the combination of Hov, and not for nothing, I think Rick Rubin mediating the shit, as opposed to it just being like, because you can see the visuals in studio of them being together, working together, like, you don't see that the same way. And I don't want to just say Meek, with SZA, with Meek too, but like, Justin tapping in with them is different, I think, than tapping in with Hov. I don't know if that speaks to Justin having the same respect as like giving it the time that he gave the record with Hov.
Yeah.
But
or
like,
are you looking at it like, when you say
it felt more balanced is kind of what I'm saying.
With Hov and
Justin,
like it was meant to be.
So you feel like with Justin and Meek is like, you laid the verse down. I'm gonna just put on her.
That's exactly what I think.
Cool, song done.
That's exactly what I think.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the feeling I can get. That's why I said I was kind of like in that moment stuck, because when you hear that record, you know you can feel it, and then it's like the Meek record is like you can feel it, but then it's like, why right now?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we waiting for you to really
heat up.
Heat up. The snippets. You know what I'm saying? Like, You know what I'm saying? Like I said,
I know
the
exactly
snippets,
what you mean.
you're
Yeah.
hearing it like, all right, he about to flame on, but then it's like you start. But then again, with the Justin, from pictures and certain things, I didn't think it was that type of record.
Yeah.
I thought it was probably something different.
Well, did they give it the time? Because that's my thing again with Justin and Hov. Is like you can tell Hov is like, I know exactly what Justin needs to do.
Beat and I could feel the beat before they even rap on it. Like it's gonna be something crazy because I know Jay-Z's not picking
at all
any whack beat. Not even say whack, just something that he picks some joints that again these songs is always remembered.
Yeah, and Rick Rubin will throw out fucking a John Lennon feature just if it doesn't sound the way he needs it to sound. So
they know how to put it together. That's the thing. Like you have somebody that's controlling the room that did it before, they put you in a different time zone. You know what I'm saying? It's like sitting like when I seen Nip before he dropped Victory Lap, he was around Diddy.
Yeah.
Why would you be around Diddy? How many records Diddy got? You get what I'm saying? Like that you can still play right now. You play All About the Benjamins, you're moving, you're dancing already.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, let me go with the GOATs to up this album. That's how some nations did that with me and Justin. Like, all right,
long-lasting music.
Yeah, like, all right, send somebody in this room and say, all right, let me hear this record. He could have been like, all right, no, Meek, no, Justin, I want you to do this. I know, Meek, I want you to do this.
Let me ask you this, and feel free not to answer by any means. But with Meek Mill, I personally don't think he gets the credit that he deserves as like the lyrical ability, the quality of artist he is. I think things like the situation with Nicki, the whole prison stuff, like outside of just the hood understanding the mainstream, being friends with this billionaire dude, I feel like it dilutes him as an artist, but puts him in a realm where he's able to make so much more fucking money that it's like it's tough. And I don't think it's telling of Meek. I think it's telling of the fans because me, I started out like I'm biggest Meek fan. Loved everything Meek was doing, and I feel like for me it's slowed down over time.
That's how I feel about A-Books.
Same, yeah, me too.
Like as if they got comfortable.
Yeah,
like
I can't say.
I don't want to say
Meek is nasty, bro.
Yeah, anytime he come out, Meek but as his,
well, I'll put it like this: I could go work at Sleepy's right now and make way more money than I make anywhere else. You know what I mean? And sell mattresses and make $100 grand a year, and I could drive nicer cars. I could go dress in nicer fits, probably have better girls, like all of that. But like at the same time, people would look at me like, yeah, you know, he got all this rapper shit, but he ain't a rapper. And it's like, I think I don't know where the balance in that is. Like Hov did it perfect. Like Hov is able to be with Cap and the NFL somehow and perfectly state this line.
That's because it's probably his business. His business. You know,
Meek is a
business
moment when he's supposed to be on the album mode.
Gotcha.
And that's probably where it's going because when Jay-Z got to how he's on business, he's not putting out albums.
He stopped with the albums, yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So he balanced, like you said, he balanced out, all right, I'm gonna do all of this, rub little shoulders with people. Now I'm in the business now. Let's go. You know what I'm saying?
Look at Rihanna, look at Cole, look at
they already hit so much that it's like, all right, it was more than just music.
Yeah.
It's like levels. You rap so much. What else more you want to rap about? Now it's like, let me run a label. Let me open up some business. Let me do this and let me do that. So that's where Jay-Z went. So with Meek, it's like you see everything on business level.
Yeah.
Robert Kraft, he dropped a movie. Yeah. He doing this, he's doing that. He snipes and signing people. Yeah. But it's like, yo, we still need
you an album, bro.
We need you dropping freestyles
straight up,
going crazy, like
crazy. Because he's capable. He's more than capable. Yes. And especially coming out of jail, like it's so crazy too because most people come out of lockdown and they don't even do the shit that Meek's at.
Right.
But you know, I give credit like. It was one other person that went to jail that came out. Gucci.
Yeah.
Gucci came out of jail and is literally the same motherfucker as he went in before, except stronger. And,
more calm.
But still, business still good, music still good.
Making money.
Coasted through, didn't get carried away with either or, just
whatever.
Went in, went out, came out, and continued to thrive. Where it's like, I think Meek left a part of himself there where more times than not, I think rappers, and as a fan, I expect him, I won't say we, but I expect him to come out with even harder bars, better music, and it's like I'm disappointed with just some of these placements. Like it's, like he's great and the placements are cool, but it's like I know what I want to hear from Meek, and I don't know how like the evolution was a little forced in my opinion.
I can't front going through a little phase.
I don't want to dwell on it because like I got a lot of respect for him, and I'm not trying to take away from the incredible artist, person, all of that. Like,
about to enjoy a little bundle, a little baby or something. You know how the streets.
Yeah, I guess.
So I don't know how, you know what I'm saying. His mindset is, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, before my baby, like I had a mindset like I got to get right before she, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Get the crib, I got to do this and do that. So it's like I don't know if he's setting himself up to be like, listen, my kids got to be set for life.
Yeah.
So if that's what he's doing, I could, you know, like I said, I don't know what he's doing. But if that's what he's doing, I could respect that. You know what I'm saying?
I respect it. And that's the thing. I don't want this to come across as disrespectful. I really do respect it. I just think maybe for me as a fan, it's too soon. Like we could have got one more album before he went into business mode.
Yeah, that's like you said.
You know,
yeah. I see what you're saying. So
at least
like,
give us a mixtape.
A mixtape,
something.
Just a flood while you behind the scenes, you know, doing this.
And then pop out with Robert Kraft. By all means,
like
get that macaroni and cheese.
You know what I'm saying? Cause now there's gonna be people like, all right, how he would talk if he is talking on this next album, as it being with the Robert Krafts and certain, we're not gonna really understand as much as that because we're not next to a person that could just buy this whole building up. You know what I'm saying? We're still like, yo, oodles and noodles and still, you know what I'm saying, getting it. So it's like he's gonna have records in that mist. Then he's gonna have some records that's like he talking that big boy talk. Like Jay-Z was talking that big boy talk and you knew he was about to.
He had so many albums too. Like Hov has such a his timeline and the way that just blended from, you know, day one from Reasonable Doubt until
all his albums. I could play from the first to the last. You know what I'm saying? Like
not skip a beat.
And not skip because it's like, yo, he's preaching in every era of he's dropping. He's preaching. It's like, you know, and then like I said, you know when he's starting to talk the big boy talk, it's like coming towards the end of the road.
Yeah. But the personal life reflected the moments in the albums too. Like you said, I think he hit every era spot on with where he was at.
I feel like that was like, all right, listen. This is like a grade or a variant. Like, listen, I'm about to just leave it all on the table. And like I said, he still had records like the O.J. Simpson. He still had drinks that's like, yo. And even if he would have probably did it right now, I feel like he still could. It's like
he would know how.
Yeah, that's like, you know how
Did he drop something recently with somebody? Or am I bugging?
I seen people saying new records featuring him, and I don't know how you featuring him.
I mean, he had that joint, like that random bicycle thing with Frank Ocean and Tyler.
Yeah, I seen that.
And it's cool, but you could tell he just did that in a way where it was casual and like just like you can see when Hov doing the look thing and when Hov was really putting time into the music.
What can what can he really say now? Like he gonna talk about what we already see. You know what I'm saying? Like what you gonna say that you did the Rock Nation banquets. You've seen it already by pictures. You know what I'm saying? Now you know in the Billy stands now. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't elaborate to that because we still grinding. Like what can you tell us about back then? You know what I'm saying? So like with me, he still have a lot of, you know, talk about the shadiness. We need to understand who's our friend. Yeah, like we need to know who's our friend.
There's some new shit in the streets that's fucked up and nobody even know about. You know what I'm saying? Like,
shit. We need to know what's going on. We don't care, not to say or be disrespectful, but we're not trying to care about who's already rich. If our mindset is to get rich, we need to know how to get rich.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. It's like you can listen to Hov and almost learn how to evolve into a wealthy individual.
Like in his generation, Hov had it. You know what I'm saying? I'll say Nick got it.
And Hov speaks like, I mean, Hov. Fucking, I'll be talking about Lost Ones all the time. Like he has such detailed examples of these things that resonate with everyone. And not for nothing to talk about placements. The way that he brought Nas on like Success, on like to go with the movie and like everything is
he's smart. So it's like, if I'm gonna do a movie, let me be behind the soundtrack.
Well said. That's it. And not for nothing, Kendrick's similar with that. I think Kendrick is doing it pretty well. He could be a little maybe stronger, and I think he's still young in time.
I was just saying that just now.
Like how did he just drop? Wait, 2 albums? 3 albums?
He dropped the 3. He's had 4, I think, at this point. But he had the Black Panther soundtrack and things. That's the only reason I mentioned it. Is like he's definitely fell back, but like I think when he pops out with something, whether it was like Untitled, Unmastered, or it always kind of fits where he's at. And he's also way younger and has way less experience.
How old is he?
He's like 20s. Yeah, he's like almost 30. But with Hov, it was just. I mean, I don't know if anybody could do it better. I mean, Drake is in the conversation now, and I give Drake a lot of credit. But even Drake, see, I love Drake. I fuck with Drake heavy. The only reason I give Hov the slight advantage over Drake is because I think Drake does it leaning a little more towards the businessy, politicky, having the writer's side.
Yeah.
Where Hov really did it the genuine hands on. Like you know, and maybe that's just some New York shit. Like at the end of the day, I mean, the finesse is crazy.
Yeah, but everybody gets the vibes from little things. Like I said, everybody learns people's ups and downs.
Straight up.
When you don't learn somebody's ups and downs, you just going in the game and thinking you got it all figured out.
Oh,
that's when you look more stupid. You know what I'm saying?
You say this too with Hov. Hov would never do a random, and it was a great record, but Hov would never do the random Block Boy JB record just because he's hot right now.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Because he had records that he made it hot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, he knew how to do it. I'm gonna put Pharrell on the hook.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a verse. Song done.
That's it. And then you see the only records he's really done, even feature wise, is like somebody like Frank or Tyler, who's like timeless in their own right to some extent.
Wow. He went crazy on Meek's album. He did what was it called? With Ross on it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And I'm like,
I think that's the one you're talking about.
Championship.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this boy got it. It's like seeing Kobe just like, oh, Kobe not that. He's here. Like, you're like, oh, the energy's like, yo.
It's like an old head stepping on the court.
You hear the song, you just skip to his part real quick, like, yo. You hear what he's talking about?
No joke.
But like, again, but see how he's talking on that record?
Yeah.
He's talking stuff that we cannot really, not saying me, but anybody younger to relate to.
Yeah.
We are like, because we know the people we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Some people are like, who's Robert Kraft? Who's this person? They don't know, so they can't really say ooh ah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's crazy how cultural Robert Kraft has become into hip hop and shit. To be a dude who's always been removed his whole life.
I thought he was on a whole nother level.
I don't know if it's like, you know, I know I'm a random white dude, but I don't know if he's just trying to take advantage of like the black look, or if he's trying to like actually, if he's one of these old white dudes that actually is like having fun and gets it. I don't know.
I feel like how you feel. Because I started to wonder things like,
you just trying to use Meek as like a puppet to some extent, or do y'all really enjoy each other's company?
It's something. You know
outside looking in, you'll notice certain things.
Yeah. Well, I honestly thought it was strictly like using Meek as a puppet until he got a rub and tug in Florida and had that whole situation. I was like, maybe this dude is down with some bullshit. You know?
But it's like, again, Jay-Z could have been in a situation where he never. We just sometimes never hear about it.
Yeah, well
so
said.
You move like a bomb.
Well, I'll say this about Hov. There's a video of Hov and Uncle Luke in Miami, and there's two girls literally eating each other out next to Luke. And Luke is like pouring champagne and all, and Hov is just like mad uncomfortable in the corner. And this is years and years and years ago. Like, I don't know if he just knew that the cameras was rolling and he never wanted that to come out.
He probably didn't want none of that.
None of that, yeah. Sometimes we look at it like, I don't think she's too much.
But then you listen to Lost Ones, you listen to that second verse, he talk about Beyonce like going through her shit and like allowing her to take her time in the army and all this. Like, it's like maybe he really just a good dude. It's like it's hard to say because you know there's politicians that's like. They made sure in college they didn't touch a joint because they knew that picture would come up and they wanted to be a politician. Did Hov do it with that intention, or is he really just a great guy?
I think so.
Knowing Hov, that's probably what it was.
Yeah. You know, the finesse is just that mean.
I can't sign a deal smoking a joint.
Yep.
that like I think
just knew.
Rest in peace, Pop. I seen an article like girls just posting.
Yeah. Oh yeah, a lot of them.
I'm laughing like, what is this going on? Like, it went from one girl, then another girl, then another girl, then another girl. But like, when it comes to the pictures now, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I know exactly. It's like
these stuff come up anytime. Like, it come up years later, and you're like, where you find it? You know what I'm saying? So like you said, well, he don't want to be in looking rat shit with.
Y'all see the little Kim? She was literally doing an interview while there was like an orgy happening in the background.
Yeah.
Like they did not think ahead, but Hov, I don't know. I mean, at the same time too, Hov got on at 26 years old. Like, I mean, you're 27 or 29. You know, at that point, like you are more conscious and do have more.
You have more sense.
There was no internet era where the cell phone shit could have caught Hov. So who knows?
I was about to say that back in the day.
That Hov Luke video made me be like, damn, Hov is really like just a straight edge to the business kind of guy. But who knows?
He got lucky with that one.
You know, again, we could talk all day. When we probably will. Yo, I'm about to come to the studio. I didn't catch them vibes and shit.
Listen, you come to the studio. Listen, I'll make the session come like we got studios upstate and stuff. So we like it's like in a secure area.
It don't matter. The fuck out of New York sometimes. This shit be stressing me out.
Pull up with lot, man. Pull up.
We'll talk about it all the air. Right now, we got to talk about what this guy's doing. Mezzy, I'm gonna ask you to please turn the camera to this man who has not got the video time.
Yeah.
Spin it. Hey, alright. We got you dark in the camera, but we got you. Tell them what your situation is, man. What you working on? What's going on with you?
You know, it's your boy Mercy, man. Straight from the floors. I got a couple. I like to work. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to work on one thing. I like to just go. You know what I'm saying? So I got like 2 tapes coming out.
Okay.
Yeah. A couple singles coming out.
How long y'all known each other?
Since I moved upstate in 2014.
Okay.
I was 14 at that time, so I knew him since I was 15.
Yeah, I'm not doing that, but
he got me in this. Like they got me in the studio. I wasn't even on that.
So how? Because I know you mentioned you were singing. You were singing, and they just heard you. And was like,
I've been singing since I was a kid. Like my mom, she been on American Idol. You know.
It's like early on, fam was into it.
Yeah. So
they heard you singing and knowing this guy. He like that sound perfect for this.
I tell the story. Like one day I was in the studio with my boy, and they needed a hook, and this girl she fronted. This guy, he fronted, and I was the only one there. Now, mind you, I'm high as hell. I'm high as hell. I crack jokes, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that. I'd be like, oh, we should put that. But he was like, yo, we need a hook. I know you be singing on the low, So I'm like, what? Hell no. And then the engineer was like, I knew you couldn't do it. That's what made me go in there.
Alright,
so I
smart
went
man. I would say, because no disrespect, you don't strike me as a dude that's like I done met Bryson and dudes like this that's like, they want to sing. Like, you strike me as a dude that's like, I don't give a fuck, but I can sing though. Am I wrong?
Nah, I get that all the time. But, nah. You know what I'm saying? I did that hook, and ever since then, till today.
So you serious?
Yeah.
That's fire.
I didn't take it more serious till I couldn't go to class. When we dropped the song, I couldn't go to class.
Gotcha.
Everywhere I went, it was they just singing the lyrics. Yeah. Like, oh, da da da.
And then they came to me like, yo, you heard what they did to your beat? I'm like,
it was his beat.
It was my beat. So when they said it, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, I didn't jump. I wanted to see because everybody, like I said, everybody's gonna record music and do whatever. I want to see how serious it's gonna go, like to understand, like, all right, they
where you gonna take it to?
Yeah.
Word. So like, I didn't know I fuck with music that hard until like I couldn't stop thinking about it. Where I was losing sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working.
Started calling
word like shit like that. Like lyrics is just popping up in my head. I hear a beat.
That's wild.
Like shit like that.
So what are y'all working on now? Like, what's the focus right now for y'all? What's the focus for you, Dizzy Banko? Like, what's the idea? You could keep both of them in a frame if you want to take a look at this, because I think this man deserves some love too. They out here on their dream team shit. Cat.
Like I said, I dropped the project. Just bringing me the artist side out. Just not just the production, on the production, but just on the artist side. And I started to tap in with the artists that's up and coming, not people that I already worked with.
Yeah.
So again, he's up and coming, a couple of artists. But with him, it's just like what's about to happen, and it's like, you know what? let me at least coach and start bring. Like I could have came in by myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for sure.
And I like to bring people because that's how I used to be. I used to go with my cousin when they always my cousin make beats and and get tapped in. So with him, I want him to have people to remember like, oh, I seen him with this, or he's good, he's straight. You know what I'm saying? Just off of my energy and respect. You know what I'm saying? And he's passionate with the music. So it's like, anywhere I go when it comes to that.
That's how I started doing interviews, low key, because I wasn't like I told y'all in the beginning of this, I was a barber. Like I didn't really give a shit about none of this, and I kind of realized like through just trying to work at high and get in situations like I didn't want a production job. I was making too much money selling mattresses.
Right.
So I'm like, if I'm gonna take any job at high, I'm gonna try and get something on air. They gave me the overnight, and like a lot of people at high don't do any interviews, and I started doing it for the same reason. You speaking, I'm bringing him. Working with Live Like Davis, I'm like, well, what artists would you want to meet? Like, I could set up interviews. I don't really know shit about it, but like, if I could set up an interview, give them the look, connect y'all, like, it'll build. And I fell in love with interviews through that process. Davis has gotten countless amounts of friends and just collabs and things like that just from making that connection. But it goes a long way, man. And it's not that it's not rooted in something genuine. He's sincerely out here, he's losing sleep to make music. So it's like,
see how serious it is versus me telling him.
Yeah, I gotta get you for your own interview one day.
Yeah. Nah, word. Like I just got back from LA, and I just did a song with Diddy's son. And Pop.
Okay.
So he went. Word.
Wow. See, it's wild. I ran into Pop like 2 weeks ago. I was leaving Rolling Stone. The craziest shit. I told this in another interview. You might clip this part, but I'll tell y'all real quick. But I hosted a showcase of one of the pay-for-play joints like a year ago for this dude Jones in Brooklyn, whatever. And Pop performed, and the drill sound like it's not my I'm out the streets. Like I've been out the streets since I guess 50. Like once 50 and all that shit, I was selling mixtapes and everything. Then I moved out to LI. I went to a group home. I started listening to Wayne and like what followed, and I kind of just removed myself from all street shit.
Right.
But hosting these showcases, obviously, it's a lot of street shit that comes through. And Pop was one of the first dudes from, I guess, last January, with one of the first showcases of the year. He performed and flooded the club, bunch of Crips in there, like going crazy. It wasn't my kind of music really, but as the host from Hot 97, it's like I'm the dude that's,
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I mean? Like I'm supposed to be the dude that's like, oh, you trying to get this dude's attention? Maybe you play the shit on the radio.
Right.
And I didn't necessarily give him the attention because I'm like, it's not my particular type of sound. But like I remember seeing him, and I remember the flyer and all that. So I never seen him again from then. Then he blew up, like I guess March last year, April, when Welcome to the Party was crazy. And still I never reached out, nothing. Like it was like it's just good to see him winning, but it wasn't for me. Like not for nothing, and I don't brag about it, but like I dubbed 6ix9ine on an interview just because I didn't understand the shit. Like I wasn't even I don't do shit for clicks.
Wow.
And I seen
you make a good point when you said that, but I'll say that to them.
Well, long story short, I saw Pop 2 weeks ago at Rolling Stone, and I'm literally leaving, and I'm in the lobby, and we make like eye contact. I walk over to say hi, and he got like this face, almost like, oh word, like because it's like I didn't show him the love then. It's like, and I told him the first thing I said to him, I was like, don't worry, I ain't asking you for no pictures. I don't even know if you remember me, but like I saw you do a showcase a year ago, and like it's just dope to see you doing your shit. I still haven't listened to a lot of the shit, like. Yeah. But Welcome to the Party is crazy. I see a lot of people supporting you. I know it's some real raw street shit. I've been removed from the streets, but like mad props because I know what it's like to pay $200 to perform, and now it's like I'm seeing you at Rolling Stone, mad ice with all the security.
That journey.
Yeah, and he smiled. He's like, "Yo, I was about to dub you on a picture," and I was like, I wouldn't even be mad at it. Like, I didn't even want the picture. Just like, props to you. I still probably ain't gonna listen to a lot of the shit, but like, I fuck with you. Like, you a cool dude, and it's nice to see you here winning. And we made I've made a joke because he had missed his Hot 97 interview that morning. I had a meeting with like my old boss from Hot that same morning before I went to Roland, and he told me, he's like, yeah, Pop Smoke is supposed to come through today, missed it. I was like, oh, I appreciate that you're not fucking with them. I ain't fucking with them either. Like, and he's like, nah, man, I just overslept. And like, we had a good conversation, and it's just like, he was a real raw, genuine dude.
Yeah, word.
And
show mad love.
It's so rare that you ever see that, because he could have easily been on some like, well, you want to play my shit? Like, there's plenty of artists that I know, even from high school, that have done well for themselves. Yeah. That's like, I could feel that they don't fuck with me, but they like fake fuck with me. And it's just interesting because, I mean, to see y'all working together and it just be strictly off organic, genuine shit, it goes a long way and it's productive for the city.
Got a couple tracks with
yeah, we got a couple drinks. Like I said, I have them on my project. Like I already, like I said, anybody, like I said, as in helping, my background, who I know, people that see me, they tend to like attach themselves with people that they always see around me. It used to be the other way when I used to be my cousin. Now that I am now to everybody the front man, it's like, all right, you bring them around, you know what I'm saying? Show them the ropes. I don't even got to say much, you know what I'm saying? I go off the energy and how you act. Like, see now how this is his first, I don't even know if it's his first time interview, but the fact that how he's acting second, but
you ain't picture at all.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have to.
Like I feel you. It's just good energy, and so, not for nothing, you showed up with one person and not 50 people. Where it's like,
I mean, I could have.
No, I'm sure you could, and a lot of people could, but it's like, it's not necessarily about that. There's a time and a place for that. If it's a flex freestyle, show up with 50 people in freestyle. By all means, like, that's what that energy needs to be. For interviews that I do, it's like, it's just dope. Like, I mean, I don't know how much research you did, but I'm just somebody who supports dope artists and cool people, and I got a lot of respect for you. I know a lot of placements you have, and I feel the end. You could come in here and really, lack of a better term, be swinging your dick around. I did this, I did that, and that attitude is not productive, and more times than not sets people up for failure. To come in here with somebody that clearly you've been locked in with for a minute that you believe in, and just to have the energy you have, it makes me want to ask, well, who's this? Because like
I said, any artist that like Christian Royce, and then you got like I don't even Jet Gang Zay. And
yeah, I know. Christian was here the other day.
Yeah, too. Like all these artists, like I said, I connect. You know what I'm saying? That tells more about me of just when it comes to music. I ain't sitting here talking his ears off about street shit all damn day. It's like, all right, once a beat, all right, bro. That's how I was put this together.
Nah, honestly, like when he called me, you know what I'm saying, it'd be about music or money or something. It might be a 1-2 street, but you know what I'm saying,
that's
most genuine shit though. At the end of the day,
little conversations, because even with, like I said, with Brooklyn, if I want to touch or take or do certain things, I'll be really talking to him like, all right, you got with who, what's what, because if they ain't gonna say it to me, you know what I'm saying. So as long as I know
Brooklyn Vinny's on, I already know. I tapped in.
That's my guys. I grew up with all them. You know, Jeezy, Pop, Curly, Rock.
See, I lived in Queens and in Brooklyn, and it's like I always say, I learned the hustle from Queens and the aggressive, like, go get it from Brooklyn, because it's two different worlds. Like you said, you could hit somebody and tap in, but it's really, they ain't gonna talk to me about shit unless it's somebody that I know from my neighborhood, you know. And again, I don't think that's productive, but it's great. The people that break through that, it's a strong bond, because a lot of times people from Uptown is notorious for not fucking with Brooklyn. Brooklyn don't fuck with Uptown. But it's like the fact that y'all is doing something and bringing it together, I do hope that as time evolves and some of this old mentality nonsense comes out of style.
It's going to come to him because, like I said, the plans that I have with him, I'm saying, like, he can have his own plans in the day. But if I know something that's going to really make people say, oh, he's from Brooklyn and he's from the Bronx. Now, where that leads to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, where it's like, oh, you try to put two Brooklyn together, it's like, oh, it's not gonna happen.
Well, he'll also let people know it's okay to go to the Bronx and make some records.
Exactly.
You know?
So it's really, like, I don't know, like, when I was walking with him, I'm like, bro, where's the street at? Like, I don't know, this S.
Like, I'll bring him to the floors.
You know, and they gonna probably people that was probably know of me, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, you know, it's the culture. It's like coming to the Bronx, you come to my side of town, it's the same thing, but it's like, again, it's all love, man. It's just music.
And to be honest, they made me feel like it was possible.
You
know what I'm saying? Like him having certain placements, him connecting with certain people, like Lil Wayne. I used to listen to Lil Wayne.
Well, it's a mutual respect at the end of the day. It's like you could respect him for his craft, and he's not for nothing. Even with a Wayne feature, if he was out here like, you know who the fuck I am, you wouldn't want to work his ass anyway. Being from Brooklyn.
But just seeing certain faces make it, like, you know, there's people I grew up with. There's people I used to play ball with. You know what I'm saying? Like,
wild.
Just seeing it, I was like, I can do it. You know what I'm saying?
Anybody can do it.
Definitely.
You put your mind to it.
And put the bullshit aside.
Exactly.
That's probably why I couldn't stop thinking about it. That's probably why.
I do want to ask you, before I tell them to shout your gram and all that, what was you going to say about the 6ix9ine shit?
When I first,
curiosity.
recently they had posted this video of these guys in a mask and they're singing.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen it. They're singing, but they got guns, masks. You thinking they're about to rap, but they're really singing. So it's a funny,
I love it.
Clout joke, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
It's my fault.
So that was with 6ix9ine.
Yeah.
When I seen him in Brooklyn and then he was doing that one song, but it kind of had a bop to it. I'm like, okay. But then I'm like, something about this is not gonna end.
Yeah.
And when you get too much in New York, when you get too much, that's when sometimes shit goes left.
It's crazy.
I start watching.
Yeah,
it's too
you
much.
get people from different areas, like even people that you don't expect. Like you have everybody on you, and it's like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, so with him, it was like, and then you see the cockiness coming out.
Yeah.
And you see the unnecessary beef. Like,
well, I'll say this much. I think for 6ix9ine too, it's interesting because it's two worlds coming together that should not come together. It's like the same way y'all do it in a genuine way, by good beats, by good bars, by good voice. That was strictly a cloud exchange, and that's why I don't have too much. Like, a lot of people are hard on 6ix9ine and not hard on Treyway, and vice versa. But for me, it's like being around a lot of street shit as a kid. I would be mad as hell if like my OG was bringing around some rainbow hair, snitch ass kid. Like,
to be honest, we was not feeling it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know what they was thinking.
They was thinking money, but it's like you can't have it both ways.
All money is not good money.
Exactly.
So if their money is like, we're going to do this just to make money, but then it's like you bring unnecessary things behind it.
Exactly.
Attention. You can make your money and be to yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you making money and then you're like, suck my, and then you beefing with people, you got, now you're bringing other people from
hip hop police. Man.
Yeah, like you got Snoop Dogg and people from Cali looking into the gang culture, now talking about it. Like, we're not liking that. I don't know how New York like.
We really wasn't feeling it, man.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I get mad as hell when people is like, well, 6ix9ine snitch, you fucking with him, like. Because not for nothing, and I don't want to get. This is my white ignorance, cashing in on my white ignorance.
I was about to ask you that. You gonna fuck when we come out, or
well,
like?
Nah, for me, I didn't fuck with him beforehand. Like, you know what I mean? I fuck with him more now than I did before, just because it's like he won over a bunch of dudes that really should have been about some shit. Because it's like. My thing is with
somebody really
and I'll be honest with it, like with the Treyway shit, it's like I'm more upset with Treyway because I'm like, you really let this motherfucker, you were real street dude, you should be the best finesse in the game, and you let this dumbass little fuck finesse you.
Yeah, that's how it really
like,
looks, bro.
And I can't say I respect the kid because I don't have respect for somebody coming up with bad negative shit.
Yeah.
But I do respect the finesse because it's like, damn, like that should have never happened.
He's coming home to money.
You know.
Yeah, I mean that's a whole nother conversation for another day.
Yeah.
That I don't even want to go into that shit. That's a whole
nother
conversation.
I want to say.
Yeah, but we're not. He's not the topic. You know what I'm saying? He's really not.
At all.
All I can say is when I was saying free my cousin one time, Zico Nico, he be home. I said, take 6ix9ine, free Zico Nico.
Yeah.
I was on live, and it was the thing I was doing, and then 6ix9ine came onto the live. He got, oh, free your cousin, huh? And I'm like, yeah, free my cousin. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, I'm gonna change my energy because you tapped into my live. Like, and mind you, he's up here.
Yeah, but he doesn't know where the fuck he really stand. And
so you saying all of that, now you imagine you'd have been in the same jail as my cousin.
There
you know what I'm saying?
So many things wrong with that boy's head.
He don't understand.
He don't understand. Like, he would have cursed me out and looked stupid in the jail. Like, oh yeah, what happened?
If anything, if he was really in the gang or something, you would have left it alone for the money.
Well, the real conversation, and you're right. The real conversation is that these white kids that are white ignorance, these kids that look up to this as just entertainment, that don't know shit about the streets, that are like, you know what, I'm gonna tell my teacher to suck my dick because I'm gonna get a million views. That's the real problem. It's like
it was too strongly with that one. Suck my, and don't understand.
They do not understand.
Sometimes
not understand.
You don't entertain the ignorance, but you sometimes wake up and I wish somebody. I wish. You tell me. You feel me? Like
the same thing. Not for nothing on the gang shit on the street side of it. Yeah. It's like. And that's why I say I'm mad at both them, at both Treyway and 6ix9ine, because they should be like, man, this little white kid dumb as shit. Like, you can't just. it's like being mad at somebody who's mentally disabled for drooling on you. It's like you just can't
like they was with it.
Yeah, it's
like
just,
he drooled on me. Let him keep drooling on me.
Like you're not even trying to understand it. It's just like, look, keep drooling on me. I'm gonna fuck you up. Like you gotta like, at some point you gotta understand it. Just like you said, not all money is good money.
That's the big lie. That's the titlement right there.
There's no order.
Guidance.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
It looked like it was order, but there was no order because they really was, breaking records that's like, okay. But then when the ignorance came with it, it's like, I don't get it. That's like with Sugar them back in the day.
Straight up.
Tupac and them making money, but you got Sugar like, yo, listen, you wanna come over here? We ain't dancing no, like, bro.
And you know what? The person who really, and this brings this whole interview full circle, the person who really is a genius in all of this is Dre, because he knew exactly, like, these are my friends, but they not moving right. This is a situation where I could potentially move right. They might be mad at me, but before it gets too crazy, let me just do what makes sense. And then he locks in with the white boy, which is just like, and look what comes of it. It's crazy.
Dr. Dre was a G, like, as much as him being behind the boards, like, Compton movie, he's behind it. So it's not like he about to make him label out as the toughest person, but he was about, standing on his own too. Like, yo, you Sugar, I'm not scared of you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not about to do that.
Cut him off without cutting him
straight
off.
up.
Cut him off. Like, listen, I'm done with this.
And he didn't get too lost in that fucking whirlpool of shit because if he would have held on for another project or another, it's like, because the bag, it's not like the bag wasn't there. Like, he really took a bet on himself and was like, you know what, let me do what's smart. He had a kid, right, too, at the time?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think he had his kid, too. It's like he just did what was smart for himself and his family, even if it meant costing his reputation, his friendships, his money.
Yeah. He had to do for him.
And he gambled on himself and he fucking won. He's still winning.
Billionaire.
Billionaire.
And that's why you see why I follow his footsteps, you know what I'm saying? So, again, growing up and learning, we don't think he put M to the side and said, all right, this is how we going to do this and do that.
Yeah.
M, he don't even need to be rapping if he's rapping. You know what I'm saying? Like, he don't need to.
Well, he's rapping the way he wants to rap.
I mean,
like,
but
whether
saying,
it works or don't work, fuck it.
But he brought in 50.
Yeah, well said.
It goes along the line.
Well
from Dr. Dre to M, then M to 50. You know what I'm saying? So me working,
full circle.
I could really pick up a good 5 lineup where it's like, all right, I know what I could do with these people. So like I said, with him, at his age, at my age, you know what I'm saying, whatever the case, he's already going to have it drilled. And they're going to look at him like, fucking get
it becomes so full circle in such a healthy way because not for not 50 covering the streets, M is covering the lyrics, Dre covering the beats, the business is covered across the board.
Right now.
I mean, let's just put that out there.
Yeah. Can we have that, please?
Please,
you know
Dr. Dre God.
Please, something.
Who makes that happen? Is that Jimmy? Have you make that happen?
I wouldn't say him. They would have to collectively be in the same room.
They need a dinner. They should have had that conversation when Dre got his Hollywood star.
They should have had it again when 50 got his star.
Straight up, yeah. So, well, anyway, let them know where to keep up with you at, man. I appreciate the time. I can't wait to post this interview. People are going to learn so much shit from this.
Oh, yeah. It's your boy Dizzy Banko. You follow me on the gram, Dizzy Banko. Twitter, Dizzy Banko. I got a project out right now called Pressure. Top of the line right now. Fire in the streets, man. Up and coming. Let's go, man. Pressure.
I have in rotation right now Enemies, Pain, and Live from LA. Which one do you think is the perfect to bring this to fruition? Because of all 3 of us, you got the most in the Rolodex. And
put Pain. Put Pain in the rotation.
Right.
Everything else is hype and live in the moment. Pain is really. We're about to drop the video for that very soon.
Cool. Say that. You know what it is. Hip Hop Mike, Dizzy Banko. Thank you, bro.
All right.
For real.